What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Take That. And we're moving toward the end of the first disc on their double album from 2011, Progress. Thank you again to Michaela for sending this. And the penultimate tune is Affirmation. So an affirmation is an indication of support, of backing, of seconding someone in terms of giving them a confirmation of the legitimacy, of the significance, of the quality of whatever is happening. Now you can self-affirm, you can give yourself affirmations, and of course your friends, your family, your colleagues can also affirm what you're doing. But generally speaking, it is a positive process or action in that you are lending credence to a person, an endeavor of theirs, a mindset of theirs, a conviction of theirs. So yes, it sounds like something that is supportive, but of course there may be more to it. I'll try to catch what I can. This is Take That. The track is Affirmation, and it's from their 2011 album, Progress.
It's just a fraction of time until we move in reverse. Can feel the pressure in all our minds on the whole universe. Is it a question of force? Reflection of time is a point of view. It's a point of view. Can you see me like I see you? Can you see me like I see you? Got no stuff to fight anymore. Got no desire to die anymore. I need an affirmation. I wanna see you again, again, again. They got no stuff to fight anymore. Don't even know what I'm fighting for. I need an affirmation, affirmation. I wanna fill you with love. I wanna see you survive. Just take a second to know yourself for the rest of your life. We're just a minute away from the place that we wanna be. We're not really falling apart. We're just incomplete. We're not really falling apart. We're just incomplete. We're just incomplete. We're just incomplete. I need an affirmation, affirmation. I need an affirmation, affirmation. I need an affirmation.
What a dynamic tune. So, again, I am hearing the electronic sounds, which, again, I understand is sort of an evolution for the band at this point. And in fact, I was thinking about that when I recently did a video reaction. Well, I did a video reaction for their song Kids to the actual music video. Then I did one for a live performance they did in Manchester. And in her comment on that video, Michaela was saying that their origins is very much as a boy band, but even then there is a distinction between them and most other boy bands in that they write their own songs, whereas most boy bands, and this certainly goes back as a comparison I made in that live performance video reaction, that Motown groups were sort of micromanaged by their labels, and they had to wear certain costumes, and in many cases, most cases, they weren't writing their own songs. So I did take that as a very significant and worthy of note stipulation, that even when they were more formally a boy band in their stylings and in their performance dynamic, they still were somewhat different in that they were writing their own songs. So that did stand out to me. Nevertheless, you can hear the electronic sounds here, from the driving electric bass line, from that electronic grit that rises near the latter stages of the tune, from the keyboard riff, which again has, if not overtly necessarily trance-like, at the very least it has a electro kind of pop sound to it. I did enjoy the ride cymbal at one point, which I was hearing, which in the world of techno, waiting for a track to build up and then that ride cymbal coming in, it's a very prominent feature of a lot of techno tracks in my rave world. So hearing that on a pop track was a very enjoyable touch. And yeah, lyrically, I'm not sure I'm hearing it right, but it does sound like it's more complicated than just a simple affirmation. It sounds like that is a desired turn of events or outcome, but it sounds like what has happened up until now are, and I think maybe we're, using an exaggerated time frame to make a point, although maybe it could also be making a point about humanity or, relationships, across the spectrum and, back before recorded history. But certainly it sounds like he's talking about a relationship with another person that has been characterized by fighting and dying emotional deaths, and it sounds like he's done with that. He doesn't have the strength to keep fighting in this way, and he doesn't even know why they're fighting, and he certainly doesn't want to die the way they've been dying. He wants an affirmation, and he wants this connection to be more supportive and positive. So it's almost like a reaching out, waving a white flag, but not because you've been defeated so much as let's stop fighting, let's have an armistice, and let's actually affirm each other instead of finding things to, cycle about in these bickerings, in these arguments, in these tearing downs that we've been doing going back 1,000 years. So, like I said, maybe it's about one relationship, but it's also extrapolating that to, the human condition or the nature of human emotional and romantic relationships. And of course, lyrics like this, I think you can see as indicative of romantic relationships, but of course it could be maybe about the band, the idea that they had a breakup earlier in their career and there were personal frictions and so on, and now that they, at least at this time, had come back together with I don't know if it's exactly their original lineup, but obviously Robbie Williams coming back and sort of a reconciling that allowed them to be more of a full group again. You could maybe see some lines in there that might fit that dynamic. And, there's other times where I've reacted to songs by, different groups, groups that, had a certain lineup in the 80s and then, split up, or people went different ways and then reconciled later. I'm thinking of Duran Duran, of course. But yes, you can think of how lines that you can read as, indicative of a romantic relationship could actually be taken in the context of, professional relationships, creative relationships, and even friendships or families that break apart and so on. So I think you can take some of the lines here and apply them in some different lanes. But yes, like when I first heard them, it sounds like we're talking about a romantic relationship that has featured struggles and fightings and maybe, breakups and getting back together and just this constant spiraling of the same issues. And it sounds like the narrator saying, enough, like, I don't have the strength to do this anymore, but I still want this, so can we just affirm each other? Like, can you affirm me and I can affirm you? So maybe I'm not hearing some of the lines correctly, and again, maybe there's some historical context here that I only have like a marginal understanding of at this point. But yes, it sounds as positive as you might think given the title, and yet with more complexity and emotional difficulty than just the title alone would tell you, if that makes sense. So, yes, another cool song from Take That is the summation I'm trying to get to here. When we come back, the final track on the first release, or the first disc of this release, is 8 letters, so we'll see what that's about. Once again, thank you to Michaela. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.